Alright, so hello there. So sorry me doing this video, and I'm doing multiple takes. Seriously. I was doing it last night, but then I realized I was way too quiet when watching the footage. Or sorry, too quiet when watching the footage. I was quiet when talking in the videos or footage, I guess, that can be used. But either way, sorry. But either way, I'm gonna redo it because it's day. I got time. Otherwise, I have time, but still. I'm just gonna redo this video, or redo this video, or the video, sorry. So I'm gonna be going over the factions and mostly the deities, the gods or goddesses mostly, but as I call them, the deities, and mostly the ones that they worship, the one that each faction worships in my story, each group. So let's start off with the Hittites. I'm looking at the timer to kind of keep track. With the Hittites, they worshipped storm deities, but the ones that seemed to be of very high importance was Tarhunna and Katazaperi. The same, no, even though they have a different name, they're kind of the same deities as what the Luwians worshipped, just under a different name, or a name that's somewhat familiar but different. So now for the Luwians, the Trojans, you got in here, but see Tarhunz and Camusepa. That Camusepa is the Hittite version, or sorry, the Luwian version of the Katazaperi, and likewise Katazaperi to Camusepa. And Apollonius, which is an interesting one because that's a deity, that's a god or deity that's associated with ancient Troy, or the city of Willusia, mentioned in one of the Hittites records. I don't know if I'm speaking quiet or not, or if I'm not being loud enough, sorry. Or if my English is bad, I apologize for that, but still, I don't mean to go off topic. Apollonius was this deity that they worshipped. The historians and scholars and stuff, they associate Apollonius with the Greek Apollo, but that's neither for me to confirm nor deny, but for them to discover more. So they worshipped more, but I'm not going to go over those ones, just the ones that are named in the story of men. Now, for Mycenaeans, you get, well, the typical 12. You got Zeus, Poseidon, which I know I looked up in the Iliad, tried looking out what was the ones that stood out the most, ones that were more important to the Greeks. And it seems like it was, from what I could look up, it was Zeus, Poseidon, but in reality, all the 12 just, they're the 12. The 12 are there for a reason, so, yeah. Now you get, they're seen, you don't really see much in the story, they're just there. Kind of like a cameo, sort of. They're just there because of the plot of the story. So, but either way, in the Canaanites, you got Moloch, who's also known in the Bible as Baal, and Ashtoreth, who's also known in the Bible as Ishtar at times, or from time to time. So, yeah. The Canaanites, I real Canaan, but it's Canaanites, which I guess it's still all of Canaan. Before it was known as Israel. I'm a Bible reader, God, Jesus lover, so I read the Bible. But either way, for Israel, Yahweh, and really just that one. It's literally only just one name. I have notes. Just to keep track, just in case. But still, Phrygia, or the Phrygians, which were kind of like immigrants, but the Greeks that migrated. They say Greeks and Europeans, which is interesting, because I wonder if it means the Europeans, like the actual Europeans, like from Europe, or if it's just like hardly Europe, or maybe, I don't know. It's just an interesting food for that, you know what I mean? But either way, excuse me, sorry. Either way, for the Phrygians, they worshipped obviously many deities, but the one most important was this female one, whose name was, many names, but Cybele, Matara, Yaston, Kobalia, which same deity, just different titles or different names. So I have to mention that one in the story because, well, I'll go over that after. Alright, for Egypt. I wasn't trying to do as much research into Egypt. This one, let's just say it does matter to a certain extent. Just because of the certain characters in the story. But either way, for Egypt, it's Ra, which is the sun deity that they largely worshipped, and Osiris, which I don't really know. I just tried looking up deities that were worshipped by the Egyptians at that time in antiquity. Probably already know why I say that, but either way. And for Thrace, this one was interesting because I tried looking up what Thracian deities did, or what deities did the Thracians worship. Well, let's just say it could be the same deities that the Greeks worshipped, but just under different names. And at times, from what I've heard or from what I could look up, they say they did have their own deities. It's just not fully on record, like kind of like the Hittites did and such, which is unfortunate. But either way, I tried looking up as best as I can. The ones that I guess are associated with Thrace are Sabatsios, Bendis, Zalmoxis, and Zis. I don't know any of them. I just had to look that up because of the each faction of the characters, or each ethnicity of the characters, and what deities they worship and all that stuff. It's important to the story I'm writing later. Now, man, that's really just about the last of it. Now, those are just stating the deities, what I'm doing right now. But the reason it's important to go over, at least for me anyway, is simply just because of the characters in the story, mostly the ethnicity associated with them and the deities they would be worshipping, because that was just the way of life back then. Some ways it still is. Some ways. Excuse me. But either way. Ow. Sorry. Either way, this is just on the surface of the subject of the deities, and I'm going into depth, like religious practices, everyday life, that type of stuff. It's tedious and unnecessary. Plus, stories should be more focused on characters, not the religion or anything else. That's my focus. But I know people probably watching this saying, what story am I talking about? Well, I'm going over a retelling of the Trojan War. And let's just say it's very, well, it's just a retelling of the Trojan War, but in a much more like biblical sense. But also kind of like, I don't say finishing off the mythology, but so much as just redoing it in a biblical type of story, in a biblical lens, in a way that's much more different from what we're used to, because it was just my interest. So, but either way, I hope this was informative. I hope it helps in the future to whoever is watching out there. I would put my link on the post, but I need to jump through some hoops before I'm able to. So, yeah. Unfortunately, I can't just be able to. Yeah. To those who do want to check out my story, I think you mean. I'm sorry. Excuse me. By the way, to those who want to check out my story, you may need an account. I'm not 100% certain about that. As far as I know, I tried looking into some stories that said I needed an account. Then I made an account and I was able to finally read some stories. Mostly not small ones, but right after that I had to continue writing. But either way. Thank you guys for watching, anyone out there. I'm gonna do something else right after this video. This one's gonna do with armor and such, though, of each faction, as opposed to, well, everything else. So yeah, I'll see you guys for that one. Anyway, gonna do it right now. See you around. God bless you guys.